So let me first introduce myself and then Preeti will introduce herself and we get started. So the purpose of this particular meeting is to inspire you and also to tell you that fit life or a life beyond weight loss is not about renunciating everything that you have, all the pleasures of life, and just be a sadhu. Only then you can be a healthy person. And it's not only if you are in your 20s and your hormones are raging, you can be there, right? It is for everybody, given that you put the right work in place and you follow the right system. So my name is Dhaval. If you're new to this group, I come in live every week and share a training with you which will help you take next step towards your health and fitness journey. And as part of that, the endeavor for this group is to make sure that sustainable fitness becomes a lifestyle for you. And that's why you're here and that's why we are here. And I would like to thank Preeti for being here because she has agreed to give us her time and talk to us today. So Preeti, over to you. Just introduce yourself, tell us what do you do, how are things.
Uh, well, I am Priti Chandriani. I live in Bombay and I'm a filmmaker by profession and by hobby. I started off a chocolate business and that's about it. So, and yeah, that's me. So
All right.
now, whatever you have to ask me, just shoot, I'll try.
Awesome. Yeah. So believe me, there is not going to be a question for which you don't
Okay.
have answer for, because it's all about the syllabus that you have designed for yourself and not out of syllabus, right? So if you're in the group watching this, if you have any questions and comments, put it in the comment below and we'll definitely answer your questions. And you can say hi to Preeti if you're joining in here. So yeah, Preeti, let's get started. You know, it's been a year, okay, almost a year. In fact, I
Yeah,
was seeing
I
Facebook
think
post
last
that
lockdown.
last year around this time is where I started my 5-day trainings that I used to do, and you were part of one of the first 5-day trainings that I did. So, how is life right now? Let's talk about how things are right now with respect to
Right
health.
now, I think things are great. I think those 5 days were a good lesson learned for me,
Mm-hmm.
after all those years of trying out various things and various diets and stuff like that. And I think that 5 days, I think is what I've maintained. I was 68, I think 64, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
64 when I started with you. And when I ended with you, I was 59. I'm 58 now.
Okay.
And my goal is to be 55. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try,
Okay.
but, sometimes, like I don't behave. So, it happens. But I have managed to maintain, even with all my binging, eating chocolates and pizzas and my beers and stuff like that. So at one point didn't I didn't weigh myself from the scale at all. I think after about 15 days, I just had a lot of stuff. I had the craving, like just to try out, during the lockdown, no restaurants. So ye try karo, wo try karo. So with all that, I had a lot of good stuff. And I was surprised, that I did not put on weight,
Okay.
you
Great.
know, and I was very thrilled at that because I'm sure I was doing something right at the back of my mind of what, like you had instilled. So that's what I feel. So I maintained, I did not put on. So I was happy about that with
Okay.
eating everything and not being on a diet.
Okay, great. So I think I would like to, pick on that and just pull that out from you. Like you said, you continue to have your chocolates, your pizza, your beer, everything that you enjoy. Is that true?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wow.
Because they say, like beer kind of, you don't drink every day. Like over the weekend, wine, you enjoy a pizza here and there just for a change.
Hmm.
Because in our house, you get tired of roti, sabzi. I've streamlined a lot of my eating because I was eating a lot of carbs because I'm a
Hmm.
bread lover. I love breads, different kind of breads,
Hmm.
and I think that's what's made me kind of sustain of what those 5 things that you said, what should be on your plate all the time, so I try to have all those things on my plate, and I think that's working because you never gave us a diet. You didn't say don't eat this, you don't eat that. I mean, instead, like when we used to share pictures, like you used to share pictures, of a slice of cheese or, like, or something like that. And, like we would be asking, are you sure we can eat this? So, like, I think that kind of works, because diets, what happens is, you're restricted that, okay, this time, 11 o'clock, eat this, 2 o'clock, have one piece of fruit, so and so, like have one veggie or have this, or, or generally the diets that I've had, like they say grammage, or they'll say, like take so much atta and have this circumference roti, which was, I think, quite cumbersome.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I think this freedom of eating what you want, but still eating right, I think that's what works.
Yeah.
And
So,
of
and I get, yeah, sorry, saying something?
No, I said, of course, with that, I mean, I have been working out also. I have been going to gyms and things like that, but have been working out from home, with even the workouts that you gave, like initially, and those weeks, and then, like alternate between cardio and this and that. So I've started feeling better with that. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So couple of things, right? Like one which I get asked very often is like, if you don't tell us what to eat, like, how does it really work? So it's again about not being telling you what to eat. It's always about helping you understand what to eat.
Correct.
And like one of the things that you really talked about is we worked together like almost a year back,
Yeah.
right? And what usually happens with the diet plans and diet charts is like 3 to 6 months after the diet chart or the plan is over, you actually have to come back to me and say, Dhaval, I've put on all the weight, your chart was awesome, but help me again, right?
Right.
Whereas you said you've lost a little more weight when we stopped working from then, and also you're able to maintain that. So how does that happen with you?
I think it's just me trying very consciously to, again, like see that my meal has protein, fat, carb, your colorful veggies. I try and incorporate that. Yeah, sometimes, when you don't have time and if you're just ready for dinner, then the salad gets skipped or something, But then once in a while, that's okay, But I always try to see that I have all these things, on there, and try and work with that, because then trial and error also works, because for I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat paneer, but I eat tofu, so I see that I get that, like dal is also, I think, protein, so in the afternoon it's just one thing. And like in our household, like dinner is just one thing, like if it's dhokla or a pasta or whatever, like you had kind of also suggested that, okay, if it's one thing, see that you eat the other things also,
Yeah.
So I have improved on that, like if I was eating poha or, like people have that for breakfast, but we have that for dinner at times,
Yeah.
so I add my veggies and my protein, to that. So it has, I think that has kind of worked for me, like, and then whenever I want to go back to the drawing board, I just go back to the PDFs, that you had sent, like in case if I'm forgetting something, So basically that there was no portion control, and that best thing is your 80%,
Okay.
that eat 80%, and that has also worked. And what I've started doing recently also, I think when in one of your live sessions, like you had talked about want to eat or need to eat,
Yeah.
so I have tried that also, so during the lockdown when you're sitting at home, and you're working on the computer, if you're watching something on TV, you tend to munch, that with me has stopped.
Okay.
So I was happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So, if I understand from what you said, it's more about you now learning and understanding what works for you
Yeah.
rather than me telling you, go ahead and do this, Preeti. Is that correct? You've
Yeah,
learned that?
because you've given me all what I have to work with. You've already given me all that, and then I'm trying to follow that, in my way, and I think that's it. Because the basics you already taught me how to use that. The tools that have to be there. So I think if we follow that, I think it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely have made it work. So, yep, I agree it works. So, let me ask you this this wasn't the first time you consulted a nutritionist or a coach or a dietitian to really help you. What are the things that you had already tried and how was the experience
Oh,
different?
major difference. I started off with General Motor diets, so that was on for a long time. Then I even try. You had those uh, pills that were suppressant, hunger suppressant. So I've tried those. I have been to nutritionists. I've been to dietitians. I've tried all that. But after finishing off with them for 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, whatever time, like I had, and I was back to square one again.
Mhm.
So I mean, I've tried all those, but with your training, with your coaching, at least in this 1 year, I feel that I am maintaining, and it has kind of stayed with me.
Yeah.
It has stayed with me, and I don't kind of jump off even if I go off the board, like with eating everything, but I kind of manage balance. I think balance is the right word. Balance out what you're eating. If I feel that, okay, if I've gone out, and I've had something, a little extra cheese or something, then at night I see to it that I have my soup or my salad. I try and balance that out, but my chocolate will be there. My
Yeah.
sweet tooth, that is there, you know, that will never go. I will never stop that.
Yeah.
Because some
Great.
things you have to enjoy. So now, now that I'm enjoying all this, so a little bit of that is
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
The crow that's come to the door.
Yeah, he also wants to
Talking.
enjoy the life.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. So and I agree. The thing that you talked about enjoying, right? This is something that I firmly believe that if the result is something which is going to give you, enjoyment, then
Right.
the process to that result cannot be painful. There will be discomfort of learning, but there cannot be pain of, really being restricted and pressurized.
Hmm.
Do you see that happening with you? Like, yes, there was a discomfort of learning because yes, you had to change what you were doing, so change is always going to be uncomfortable, so there was discomfort, but at the same time it wasn't punishing that, painful things for you to do. So how do you feel
No,
that?
absolutely. I didn't find this painful at all. Instead, I wanted to kind of try it out. I wanted to learn. I wanted to implement it in my meals or whatever I was eating.
Mhm.
It wasn't like the previous diets, because like something or the other. Because you always told, oh, don't eat pizza, don't eat cheese, don't eat that. So when you went off that, you automatically your brain signals, "कि अच्छा ये नहीं खाया, let's go for it." In this, because you're allowed everything, you know, you kind of limit yourself,
Mhm.
and sometimes you don't even want to,
Yeah.
So I think that's what for me, that's what I feel. It wasn't a punishment for me. Because for me,
Absolutely.
that learning process was very helpful.
Yeah. And again, I think you brought the great point, which I strongly believe is, see, when restricted, we become rebellious. Okay, that why not this? Even if you don't want to, you feel like, "Arey yaar, kitne din se pizza nahi khaya?" Because if you have a choice, you probably don't even eat it for a year. But if pizza is not in your to-do list or to eat list and say avoid, 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 अरे यार एक बार तो try करते हैं, एक बार तो try करते हैं. So that's the inner rebel kicks in, and it happens with everybody. Like my 3-year-old, if you tell him not to do something, that's the first thing he wants to try.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Yeah,
and we are all grown-ups and we have this power inside us which can choose. It's just that, if it's facilitated in the right way, it can choose the right things for
correct,
us.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And if you're watching us live, if you have any questions for me or Preeti, if you're watching this as a replay and you have questions for me or Preeti, put it in the comment below. We'll come back and answer it, and I'll check if they are here. We'll answer it before we, close this. We have Soumya who said hi. So thank you for being here, Soumya. Is there anybody else who's watching who's got questions? Put it in, and we are here to, answer that for you. So yeah, now next thing is, if you had to talk to Preeti, like we work for almost about 2.5, 3 months
3 months.
together.
Yeah,
Last year, about 2 to 3 months
yeah.
we worked together. If you go back 1 year from now, and if you were to tell yourself something about, should I get started, should I not get started, should I do this, what would you tell yourself? What would be the advice to yourself 1 year back?
Of starting something new, or if I had to go to a coach or
Yeah, if you had to come to me, you saw me somewhere live, you saw either an ad
I,
on Facebook, like how would you talk to yourself 1 year back if it was 1 year back?
actually, yours was by chance, and what pulled me towards your thing was Fit for Life.
Mhm.
Because that was very catchy. And I said, okay, I said I have to attend this 5-day workshop and see what it is. Because one had already gone through, because I think when we started, I had just come back from a shoot, and it was crazy. And because when you're on a shoot, you eat whatever you get.
Yeah.
And for me, because I cannot eat spicy, my best thing was having, like a cheese sandwich or a veggie sandwich or something like that. And I think that Fit for Life, I think, is what attracted me. And if I had something like that again, like, I think anyone would go for that and say, okay. And I was actually also curious as to what is this Fit
Yeah.
for Life.
Yeah.
It was my curiosity also that brought me, to that.
Great. So yeah, the fit for life. So if you're watching this, like Preeti is already fit for life right now. If you want to be fit for life, just comment below fit for life, and I'll reach out to you and I'll tell you how you can get fit for life.